Hello, everybody. Firstly, Buluvinaka and good morning to everyone here today. And we just thought we'd hold just to create the awareness and national conversation around medicinal cannabis, which is part of government's effort to try and start genuinely diversifying the Fijian economy. We thought we'd hold a press conference today. Just to sort of kickstart discussions. Then there'll be time for questions. So good morning and thank you for being here. The Permanent Secretary of Health and Medical Services, Dr. James Fong, Director Legal for the Fiji Police Force, Rajesh Krishna, members of the media, Buludaka, and a very good morning to you all. Thank you for availing yourselves this morning to discuss the emerging market, the medicinal cannabis market in Fiji for export only. On behalf of the Medical Cannabis Task Force, which includes about 14 agencies, the Ministry of Trade, Cooperatives, Small and Medium Enterprises and Communications, and invites members of the public, relevant industries, NGOs, civil society, and other communities nationwide to a public consultation on the establishment of the medicinal cannabis industry. The Cabinet supported the formulation of the Medicinal Cannabis Task Force to develop a feasibility study, propose amendments to legislation, and of course conduct a nationwide consultation. In this regard, the task force is spearheading a comprehensive study to establish the medicinal cannabis industry in Fiji for export, to provide an opportunity for Fiji to diversify its economy and a new source of income for expansion, which is a priority of the government of Fiji. The task force comprises of the Ministry of Health and Medical Services, Ministry of Home Affairs and Immigration, the Fiji Police Force, Ministry of Tauke Affairs, Culture, Heritage and Arts, Biosecurity Fiji, Investment Fiji, FRCS, just to name a few of the agencies involved. Furthermore, the nationwide consultation will be held for 2 weeks and will commence on the 9th of October 2023 to the 19th of October 2023. The time and dates are in the various locations, and I'll just read them out here. They have been published in the local dailies as well. So from Monday the 9th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. in Suva at the Airport Hall, at the St. Henry Church from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Monday, the 9th. Nasinu and Nakasi, the Ministry of Sports Youth Training Center in Valley Level, which is the location, and from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. in Nosori, Ikorvo, at the UN Women's Association accommodation in Nosori. On the Friday, the 13th of October, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. in Singatoka at the Singatoka Town Council, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Nandi Lautoka at the Nandi Civic Auditorium in Nandi. On Wednesday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. in Lambasa at the Cooperative Office North, Raumbe Building in Lambasa. And on Thursday, the 19th of October, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Sabsabu at the Cooperative Office in Sabsabu. We encourage a collective effort to amplify and encourage valuable contributions to achieve this vision. We desire to see this initiative not only promote diversification in the economy, but also unlock the untapped potential and generate new avenues for growth in Fiji, in the new Fiji. And just to explain what really this initial launch of this industry means is, apart from cannabis, medicinal cannabis, there are other areas that the government would like to look at in terms of creating the new industry. It's really in some places regarded as the nutraceutical industry, and that will cover kava and value addition, and also looking at other alternative medicines. For those of us who have experienced the healing properties of Batakoro, for example, these are some of the things that this industry, because it's quite a broader view, we will try and create as well. So therefore, to the people of Fiji, we welcome your attendance at the public consultations and the schedules that I mentioned, to meet the task force and tell us your views, because as far as this government is concerned, the views of the country matter. I would also like to emphasize that the establishment of this industry would be limited to export only. It's not legalized. It's not in any way an indication of an intent to legalize cannabis in Fiji. All prohibitions that relate to cannabis locally shall remain, and if any abuse is found, that will still come under the law of Fiji, and people will take into task if that is found out. The intention is to allow reputable existing operators to actually come and build industry in Fiji. The nature of the operation is it's generally ring-fenced for confined extraction, and the manufacturing facility is highly secure. It's under camera, and there's strict monitoring of the import of the produce. All the plant material is imported and is monitored very carefully, and then obviously it's tracked till it's grown and exported. And of course there's opportunity for value addition, but again, like I said, there will be very strict monitoring of the industry. We have been receiving submissions already, and anticipate more submissions during the consultations. In closing, we are committed to collaborating with all the relevant ministries. As you can see today, we have the Permanent Secretary for Health here and the Director Legal from the police who are here in terms of trying to ensure that when we launch any industry for that matter, but in this case medicinal cannabis, that we ensure that in trying to advance the interests of the Fijian economy and looking at innovative ways of supporting long-term employment and growth of the country, that it's done in a responsible manner, and that we are consulting through the process. Thank you for your attendance here today. Apologies for being late, and we open up for any questions. Thank you very much. Good night.
From PG1 News, in regards to the medicinal cannabis, it's for export only, and I want to ask if you've established overseas investors or markets for these exports, and how is it coming?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. There's actually two investors, offshore investors, that are interested. Both are already in the business of producing medicinal cannabis. What the intention is to ensure that they are screened through once this legislation is done. But certainly they are already experienced in running factories, and that of course is a positive for Fiji, because they will be bringing foreign investment, but also the necessary expertise that's required for this very complex processes. So yes, there are some investors that are already inquiring.
You have a country?
New Zealand and Australia.
So, from Fiji Times, If approved, who will form bulk of the workers, and also where will the farms will be set up, and who will look after security?
Sure. Yeah, so the way I envisage it working is, the location will be something that the investor will decide. So it could be anywhere in Fiji. There's of course tax-free zones as you go outside Suva from Nosori up to the west. It's really up to the investor where they would like to locate. But I think the important thing to note that it's a factory type facility, highly secure. Cameras, there'll be monitoring, there'll be ability of the police force to go in and sight the cameras, check the production schedules, track the produce, because that is all required. Will definitely be required from a regulatory standpoint from the Ministry of Health as well as the police as well. Yeah. So the answer to your question is, it's really up to the investor where they'd like to locate the factory. One of them has been looking around, but I think the key point to make is that it's going to be highly secure. They generally tend to recruit women because just the attention to detail and it's quite a fine process. So with seeds and all that. Then there'll be opportunity for employment, and hopefully, it's such a large industry now globally, and hopefully Fiji can participate and get to have another line of export into the global market.
So, from health point of view, what will there be any strategies or protocols put in place in terms of the health issues that needs to be taken care of, or that needs to be considered, looking at the amount of time it will be taken to start the process for that?
Yes, as I understand, the part of this exercise does include discussion around the legislative changes that are required to ensure that there is a proper approval process for any of the medicine-related elements that need to be brought in to facilitate the production of this of medicinal marijuana. We already are signatory to existing laws and international agreements around this, and as we understand the way it is couched, as long as we make the necessary adjustments, we can actually stay within the boundaries of what we have agreed in the international agreements that we have signed. Yeah? So it just requires some changes. The changes are not new. There are changes that have been replicated in other countries. Australia, New Zealand, I think Manoa has also moved forward in this area. And they've made the necessary changes in their legal approval process and their regulations to support the growth of this market. As a ministry, we understand that cannabis itself is, if you go back in history, if you Google medicinal cannabis, you'll find out that it has existed as a form of therapy for millions of years. Both Egyptian medicine and if you go back to even some of our Indian Ayurvedic medicine, they do describe the use of marijuana. The problem has been that in the scientific community, it had not got the necessary scientific study because of the prohibition. But now that we have understood that it has medicinal impact, now we are getting more studies to support it. And at the moment, the fact that it relieves a lot of symptoms in those with chronic illness has made it come up as a medicine that many people want to use. and has opened the market for this medicine. And as said by Honourable Minister, we do endorse the actual way in which we want to produce it within a ring-fenced area, so that we import seeds and we export preparations that are able to mitigate some of the symptoms in those with chronic illness.
Yeah, in terms of monitoring, I understand it will be not legal for other recreational use. What are the plans that are there to monitor and enforce and prevent it from going out into the black market?
Yeah, I mean, the regulations and the laws will cover the monitoring process. Of course, that will be detailed once we start looking at the legislative requirements. But the intent is, like I said, to produce this under very confined conditions. So, and by that it means it's really like I said, it's a highly secured facility. Even those entering the factory are checked when they come in, when they come out. Those are the kind of controls that the police will want as well to be in place to ensure that we operate within the law. It's not new in Australia and New Zealand. They have very highly secure facilities. You can't just wander onto a medicinal cannabis factory. There's screening processes. I'd imagine the factory, the investors will have their own security guards to provide the first line of screening, and obviously that in itself will have to have police scrutiny as well. So I think we're probably not at that point of detail to share the details, but I think we can certainly give the assurance that the government is treating this very carefully, and that is why as well we are going down the route of dealing with existing experienced investors. This is not an experimental process. We will deal with investors that know what they're doing, that have already started exporting, so that it's safe. It means that people that come to Fiji come with their own money first to come and invest, and secondly they come with the relevant experience and knowledge from their own country, which means that there'll be a heightened level of control around the process and the product. Thank you.
Dr. Fong, just in terms of the health implications of those workers who will be working on this in the factory and stuff, so has there been any research done in terms of looking at the health implications of it?
Yeah, as Honourable Minister said, the working conditions that surround the whole production process will have to comply with all the OHS regulations. And this is one of the reasons why we feel assured, because of the fact that we are bringing in known players, people who already have existing workplaces. They run existing workplaces, and we want them to replicate those workplace conditions when they setting up in Fiji. The actual risks involved, I'm not aware of any major issues highlighted in the main media. I do know that my team, when we went through the proposal, it was not considered or not brought up as an issue. Our issue was mostly around trying to define and ring-fence the definition of medicinal cannabis, and ensuring that we are clear on what the product is, rather than on the working conditions involved in the factory place itself.
Dr. Fong, just to be clear, can you tell us the difference between medicinal cannabis and marijuana?
Yes. The medicinal cannabis is defined by its use. So that means we are actually, it refers to preparations made for the purpose of using it within a therapeutic environment or within a consultation environment. So that means it has to be, the preparation has to be an approved preparation, and then B, we have to make sure that it is actually prescribed before for a medical purpose, and that's always been what medicinal cannabis is about. There is a lot of confusion out in the social media because there is a lot of discussion around recreational use, whether it can be used for recreation. I need to emphasize that it is used within a medical office and it is prescribed within a consultation, and it is for people who have a chronic illness and need relief on specific symptoms, especially depression and pain. That's where it works with. So when you use it in that context, it has its own, there'll be dose-related response looked for. The doses will vary according to how it impacts those specific symptoms. This is very different from recreational marijuana because you usually use unregulated dosage. We should remember that with recreational marijuana, when they smoke it, each preparation will have a different, each roll will have a different, because of different contents inside. So it's unregulated. This one is regulated. We're talking about a regulated content.
Yeah, look, again, thank you for your attendance, and from the government side, this is an important part of the process. That's why we are, making national announcements, because it's important that whilst we are keen to develop this industry, we also are very mindful of the sensitivities involved and want to ensure that we demonstrate to the people of Fiji that this is going to be handled responsibly, to ensure that we get the right outcomes for our country, and also, in terms of produce, that it's the right outcome for those who need treatment. Like Doctor said, it's really for use. Essentially what happens is it's a doctor that prescribes. So that's why we're not doing it here, because that adds another level of sophistication in Fiji to have the medicine prescribed in Fiji. So right now it's all for export, and it's under, you actually go to a doctor, then they prescribe the medicine. So it's not like the recreational side of it. So it's a very confined purpose and confined use, but a very large opportunity for Fiji. So again, thank you for coming today. Thank you to the two gentlemen here for attending, and look forward to seeing you at the consultation over the next few weeks. Nawale.
Thank you.